This could be the most groundbreaking and innovative feature in zombies to date. What's going on, everyone, and happy Halloween! What better way to celebrate Halloween than another Cold War Zombies video? And in this one, I'm going to be in-depth explaining the rarity system in Cold War, as well as the power level system, the colored weapon rarity system, and how those correlate with the rounds, as well as what this means for pack-a-punching, create a class, and the mystery box. Let's start off by talking about the big one, and I seriously can't believe nobody's talking about this. This is the power level system, as well as the rarities. Since World at War, there's only been a few ways that you could actually boost your weapon's damage, and that was pack-a-punching, using the double tap perk, or quad packing like you could in Black Ops 4. And at that point, there was no way to increase the weapon's damage past that point. You were just stuck with that weapon for the rest of the game, and eventually the damage is going to drop off. Those zombies are going to be way too hard to kill with those weapons. But Cold War flips this on its head and gives us a rarity system even better than Warzone. And I'll explain that in a minute, but from the shots in the trailer, I'm assuming it's like Warzone in the fact that you have a white rarity, a blue rarity, a purple, and the highest rarity, which is the orange. And I don't know if that's all the ones that are in Warzone. I don't know if they've ever had a yellow rarity or a gold rarity, but it seems like the wonder weapons in Cold War are more yellow than orange, so those could boast the highest rarity in the game. But the rarity system is not all about colors. Here's a clip of Craig Houston explaining this.
The gameplay is classic, but it's going to be tonally quite fresh. You'll find our updates this year have focused on one thing above all, embracing what makes zombies so much fun.
No more starting with a pistol. Bring in your AR, your SMG, whatever you're feeling.
And with all weapons boasting rarity with power levels, you can continue to increase your gun's damage potential however you choose. Every gun has a path to become an uber weapon.
So in addition to the rarities, we have power levels. These power levels will almost guaranteed be tied to the round system. To explain this, let's say you've just loaded into a game, you're on round 1, and you've brought an M16 with you. That M16, along with any wall buys on the map, will be the common white version and will do the standard base power level. Let's say power level 1. But the mystery box could give you anything from a common rarity weapon with a power level of 1 to maybe something like an orange weapon with a power level of 30. But let's say you stick with that base M16 for a little bit. Now let's say you're on round 10. Your M16 isn't really killing at all at this point, but all the weapons on the wall will now have a reasonably higher power level. So this gives you an incentive to keep buying wall weapons every few rounds or so. However, taking a gamble and hitting the box could give you anything from maybe a common weapon that's 10 power levels worse than what's on the wall, or an orange weapon with a power of 10 levels higher than what's on the wall. Assuming that the wall weapons will always give you a gun with a power right in the middle of the possible power levels you could get from the box. So as you're progressing through rounds, the mystery box's power level window will increase right alongside those rounds. So let's say you're on round 30 now. You're no longer going to be seeing any weapons with the lower levels that you were possibly going to obtain in the lower rounds. Now you're going to be seeing things like a common weapon with a power level of 30, all the way to maybe a orange weapon with a power level of 60. The power level of the weapons in the box will be fitting for whatever round you're on, forever, the whole game. Which means after however many rounds, your gun is going to do less damage than it was when you bought the gun. Now that sounds great and all, but that kind of seems like a hassle, right? I mean, who cares if I pick up a really rare high power level weapon from the box if eventually it's just going to go down and down in damage? But this is where Pack-a-Punch comes into play. So let's say you get that orange rarity high power level weapon that you've been wanting from the box. Well, you go Pack-a-Punch it, and that adds an additional maybe 30 more power levels to it, making you pretty much set for the next 10-15 rounds or so. Maybe you'll even be able to keep that weapon longer by re-Pack-a-Punching it and boosting the power levels once again. I would imagine every time you re-Pack-a-Punch a weapon, however, it's going to cost more, so at one point it might just be a better option to get a new weapon anyway. So it really puts a lot more decision making on the player and just provides a way for the player to always be doing something. Now looking at the wonder weapon from the trailer, you can see that the box has a yellow or goldish glow when he picks it up, and this gold rarity could just be for wonder weapons. I think the wonder weapon in this game just kind of does the same base damage anyway, so I would imagine the power level on the wonder weapon would just say something like infinite. But TREYARCH does mention in the reveal that every weapon has a path to become an uber weapon, which is probably just a way of saying it's a wonder weapon or just a weapon of just massive amount of damage. I would think even making your weapon an uber weapon just means that it's insane for the round that you're on right now, but eventually will drop off just like any other weapon. I would imagine the same rarity system works with equipment too. I don't know if you're going to need a scavenger or vulture aid perk to even obtain loot from zombies. At one point in the trailer, we see a zombie drop a blue grenade, and I'm not sure if grenades are going to have power levels or not. Maybe every grenade is going to be the same and you're just picking up extra grenades for yourself. But who knows, maybe your lethals and tacticals also have power levels too, and you have to maybe pick up better ones from zombies or even from the wall. Speaking of wall buys, there's something that we haven't actually touched on yet, and that's the wall weapons having different rarities as well. At one point in the trailer, we see just a common wall weapon, just the white chalk outline, but at another point in the trailer, we can actually see that there's a blue wall buy. And I can't think of anything else to explain this other than the great feature of the Call of Duty Zombies map, buried, the chalk. What if you're able to acquire a one-time use chalk of different rarities, the blue chalk, purple chalk, the orange chalk, and maybe even the gold chalk, for a one-time use on any wall buy of your choosing to make that wall buy the rarity of the color of the chalk that you used? Just making it so every time you buy this weapon or even rebuy this weapon off the wall, it's just going to have a little bit extra power level, just providing even more decision making and playability to the game. Now let's talk about how this might affect the create a class system. My first thought would be to assume that every gun you get out of the box or on the wall will have all the attachments that you put on them in create a class anyway. But who knows, maybe the amount of those attachments are going to be determined by what rarity or color the weapon is. But I kind of doubt this. I think that every weapon that you're going to pick up is going to have those attachments that you customize in the main menu. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for today's video. This is all just based off of the information that we got in the reveal trailer and on the blog post, so we don't know any of this for sure, but I can't think of any other way that power levels would work in zombies. So that's it for today's video, everyone. What do you guys think about this rarity system? I think it's going to be super cool. Zombies has never had anything like this before. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below, as well as what you guys think about that chalk idea. I know it's kind of a stretch. Stay tuned tomorrow for a special Halloween video. It's going to be super cool, and I will see you guys in the next one.